What's up everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on last night's episode of Teen Mom 2. I'll also be doing a live recap of season 1 episode 2 of Teen Mom 2 around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my channel members. If you want to hop on and share your opinions live with me either on video, in the chat, wherever it is, make sure to hit that join button and sign up for a channel membership. Now moving into this recap, Shawn has been staying at an extended stay hotel ever since his breakup with Jade. Then Leah's daughter Gracie is going back to in-person school, and of course Leah had to turn a simple car ride into some kind of bootleg Tony Robbins seminar per usual, talking about you need to be brave, you need to be courageous, you need to be strong. Like, sis, just hand her the damn Lunchable and drop her off at school. We are tired of your constant lecturing. By the way, why did a random man go and touch their car door to let Gracie out of the car in the middle of a damn pandemic? How many car doors is this man touching and transferring germs to and from? The girl is like 11 years old. Just tell her to get out of the car, or her mom who's driving, and she'll get out. Like, you know, these are not kindergarteners here. Now, I thought it was really funny listening to Chelsea and Cole at the gas station talk about how upsetting it was that people weren't wearing masks in the gas station, and she's pregnant, so it makes her like extra anxious. Meanwhile, in real life, this girl was going to parties with her friends without masks. She was going to like big weddings without a mask. Give me a break. Meanwhile, in Florida, Devon has been picking Nova up from school and taking her to gymnastics 3 times a week, but apparently he's been regularly late, and a friend of Brianna's, a new friend, not named Shirley this time, actually comes over to discuss it as she folds laundry, and apparently Devon's tardiness has been upsetting Nova, which is very understandable. Apparently she's always like the last one left at school, and that just sucks. She's already like a very shy, anxious kid, so I'm sure that that doesn't help matters at all. And guys, wow, the way that Allie was reading Addie and Leah for filth in that car ride while casually sipping her little iced tea was a whole mood. Addie claimed to love e-learning, and Allie was like, oh, is that why you haven't been doing like your schoolwork? You're sure you like those tests? Is that why you're arguing with mom? And then she takes her last little sip of her iced tea, and I had to laugh. Leah tells her to play nice through gritted teeth. I wonder if it was to avoid a fight between the two sisters, or if it was because she was upset about, you know, the image that she was trying to portray being crashed by Allie at that moment. Now, back in Indiana again, Shawn comes over to Jade's house to watch Chloe while Jade went to work, and then Jade returns and the two of them talk about their relationship, and he claims that being a stay-at-home dad was a worse decision because, you know, all of his dreams fell on the back burner, and then it made him feel like a puppet who had to do XYZ according to Jade's whims. Again, when was this man ever a stay-at-home dad? That child was in daycare, you know, and Jade would be the one dropping the child off to daycare while she was on her way to work. And when the child was not in daycare, she was in the care of 2 alleged drug addicts. So when was this man a stay-at-home dad? Because I really want to know. He then tries to manipulate Jade into getting back together. He's like, you know, we were friends before we got, you know, we were lovers or we were in a relationship or whatever. I want to get back to that part, you know? It was all smoke and mirrors and manipulation because, you know, he does not have the money to be staying in that extended stay hotel much longer, right? And Jade does not fall for the okie doke this time. She still wants more time apart to make sure that they would be able to get along if they were to get back together. And I was really proud of her for, you know, standing her ground there. Now, back in South Dakota, Chelsea tells us that she's not comfortable testing her kids 3 times a week in order to film with them. And, you know, I'm very much team her on that. Having just done the test myself, it's not that fun. It's really not. And, I wouldn't want to subject my kids to doing something like that either, especially when it's to participate in a show that they can't even consent to because they're kids. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we want to exploit you, so shove this thing in your nose 3 times a week. Like, you know, at a certain point you do have to draw the line when it comes to these kids. So I'm glad that she did do that. She said that her kids, especially Watson, was actually quite terrified of like the thing going in his nose. And she's like, I don't want him to be scared of these things. And like, who knows, maybe this will lead to him being terrified of like doctors or medical people and stuff like that, which leads to its own host of other problems. So you do have to put your foot down at that point. And I also really liked her discussion about how there's no winning when it comes to parenting in the era of Corona. Like, you suck if you keep your kids at home and they don't get to socialize all year or for 2 years, however long this lasts. You suck if they send them to school because they might catch something and bring it back home. Like, there really is no winning. And at this point, she's like, me and my husband need to sit down and make a decision about this rather than it being like a requirement from you guys. Like, we're the parents in this situation and we want to make this decision. And I was like, Get it, girl. Guys, we get to see the fallout from Kail exposing Javi's attempts to bang her in the Wawa parking lot. Not much, but a little bit. So the episode aired on TV. That's how recently these next couple of scenes or episodes are filmed. And Kail is like, oh my God, I'm gonna look like I'm so bitter and petty for revealing that information. Well, you look that way because you are that way, sis. And she curses like a sailor in a room full of kids. She dropped like 20 F-bombs. Like, it was so much, so excessive. Honestly, I think it's so trashy to be throwing around kids. I'm sorry, y'all. I know some of you guys think it's normal, but to me, not a fan. She says that Lauren's probably a nice girl and that she didn't deserve that. But it's like, what do you mean this girl, Lauren, is probably a nice girl? She's been living with your child for how many years? And you're just now like, oh, she's probably a nice girl. You've never tried to get to know her. So don't backtrack now and act like, oh, like, you know, she doesn't deserve this. She doesn't. You've been talking cash money, S-H-I-T, about this girl on TV for years. You never tried to forge a relationship with her, knowing that she was supposed to be the stepmother to your kid eventually. She was engaged to Javi. They have another kid together. She's permanently in your child's life. So don't come over here with that at this point. It was also so annoying to see Joe, per usual, up Kail's ASS, talking about, are you okay? What do you mean is Kail okay? She's the one who got up there on TV, all smug, ready to humiliate the next woman for what? And over in West Virginia, Leah and her kids are in the car and she asks Gracie to put the suitcase in the back, and then Gracie doesn't want to, and she's like, you know, Allie is lazy, so she takes the suitcase and hits her sister with it. I don't know if she did it on purpose or if it just was a result of her like half-assed like moving the suitcase, but it hits Allie in the head, and then it ultimately does end up ricocheting or bouncing off onto their dog as well. And Leah's like, what the heck? You know, why are you calling your sister lazy? And why can't you just do the simple thing that I asked you to do? And I thought that Leah actually did a really good job of trying to resolve that conflict with the girls by trying to tell Gracie, listen, your sister just gets tired faster than you do. She is not lazy. You need to stop calling people lazy and be more like compassionate towards other people. And I thought that that was a good life lesson for her at that point. They were quickly transported back down to Florida, where Brittany and her family are making tie-dye shirts in the driveway. And guys, Brittany is so funny, you guys. She's like, oh my God, I don't know, this shirt, let's pray to God that it looks good. God, please bless us with that good shirt so we could be fly as hell. She is just too funny. I thought that was the best part of the entire episode, not even gonna lie on that front. Back inside the house a little bit later on, Briana sits down with a producer and texts Devoin that school is out early tomorrow so that he shouldn't be late to pick up Nova. And then Devoin allegedly responds with, are you stupid? Have you seen those car lines? Okay, my first instinct when I watched this was, okay, this is strange that this is the first text chain between Briana and Devoin suddenly, you know, on this phone, because obviously as co-parents, they are texting a lot more regularly than this sudden text. Then Devoin went on Instagram and claimed that it was faked as well. His excuse also was that, oh, look, the text message was at 3 p.m. Why would she be texting me to pick up Nova early when it's 3 p.m.? But if you go back and listen, which I just did actually, she was talking about tomorrow. So I don't think that that is the proper kind of angle to take there, though I do take his word for MTV lying about this scene, because he already did prove that they lied the last time they showed text messages from him. But anyway, you know, if he did send those text messages and he is whatever, I thought that it was a really whack response, because Briana was originally the one who was picking Nova up from school and taking her to gymnastics. So obviously she's seen the car lines, and the car lines doesn't mean anything. You just sit in line and Nova would understand, but it seems as though he is even coming after the line is already finished at this point. Bri responds with, you know, Nova gets anxiety whenever you're late, and then Devoin allegedly responds with, F you, if you don't like how I do it, then you can pick her up, which is a big SMH. And you know, if MTV is faking that, then truly shame on them for trying to perpetuate that kind of false narrative about Devoin, and shame on Briana for going along with it, because at the end of the day, that is her daughter's father, and it's just so wrong on so many levels to be doing that to both her, the daughter Nova, and the father Devoin as well. Over in Dover, I did not understand Kail's hairstyle for the podcast photo shoot / dropping Lincoln off to Javi. She looked like a 7-year-old on her way to picture day, you know? Anyway, Javi comes to the door in his cheating ass Crocs to pick up Lincoln, and he barely interacts with Kail, but apparently Lauren actually came outside and wanted to talk to Kail before Kail ultimately bolted. Kail freaks out, drives off, runs around the corner, and and then demands that they stop filming like the punk that she is. You were all up in the cameras with all the smoke in the world when it was time to put Lauren on blast. But when she's ready to talk to you as a woman about the stuff that you chose to make public, there you go, running away like a punk ass bitch. And I don't even, you know, like I was just so, how are you not embarrassed to be this big of a petty Betty at your big old age? You know, she should have taken her lumps like a woman. And meanwhile, she's like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is so bad. I can't believe this. Like, stop. You are not the victim here, Kail. The only victim is Lauren. A victim to you as a bitter baby mama that she's got to deal with. Javi as a cheating ass partner, and those damn pigtails that you insisted on wearing. Now, notice how Kail was so shook by Lauren that she couldn't even be bothered with her crying baby. Creed was crying in the driveway. Even when she ran away around the corner, she was more concerned about the cameras than Creed. You know, that's how shook she was, because Lauren had all the smoke for her. Now, why did they put up a domestic violence PSA after this scene? I was like, Javi's not out there beating Lauren, and he's not out there beating Kail either. So what was the purpose of this? I noticed that they didn't even have the PSA before or after Shawn, which we're going to get into in a second, busted out Jade's window. Why this scene? I found that quite interesting. Anyway, Leah and Corey exchanged the kids in their usual parking lot and discussed the fighting that the girls were going through in the car. Gracie was still mad at Leah by the time that Corey was at the parking lot, but you know, Leah reassured her that she loved her and all those beautiful things. I thought it was really interesting, by the way, that they talked about how like complexly, like kind of nice in a way it was, that Gracie sees Allie as lazy because she doesn't see her as different or disabled or anything like that. You know, just like the childhood kind of innocence going on there. Meanwhile, in Jade Land, this is the final scene of the episode, Shawn showed up super late to watch Chloe. This guy talking about being a stay-at-home dad all these years, and you can't even show up on time despite not having a job or anything to watch your own damn child per usual. So Jade, of course, was pissed. She didn't want to talk to him. And what does he do? He busts out the window in a house that his daughter is in, probably terrifying the daughter, creating a lot of danger for his daughter by way of broken glass inside and outside of the home. Number two, leaving it open to someone to just jump into the house, do anything they want, steal whatever's in the house, I don't know, terrorize her mom. Like, what was his end game here? Like, this was really, really dumb on his part. Jade called the non-emergency police line, and then she gets really upset about how long it's taking for the police to get over there to help her. But listen, I'm sure there's probably a lot of crime going on, like emergency crime. This guy busted out your window, yes, but I'm sure on the line you told them that he's left as well, so probably that's why they didn't prioritize it as much as, you know, other things that were happening as well. Now, yeah, like her mom is like talking about the slow response time and stuff, and they're all just commiserating. Apparently the lady on the phone told her to plug up the hole with a piece of wood, and you know, ultimately they do end up getting back together, which is kind of like, really, girl? Really, after all of this, this guy busted out the window to your dining room with your child in the house, and you still get back together after him? He is trash. He is dangerous. You said so yourself. It's so sad to watch how long it takes women to leave like abusive and toxic relationships. It truly, truly is. Hopefully after the next breakup, it is for good, because nothing good can come out of this relationship, you guys. I am telling you. Anyway, that does it. A recap of what went down on last night's episode of Teen Mom 2. I'm also going to be recapping Kail's podcast episode really soon for you guys as well, so look out for that later. And then if you want a live recap of episode 2 of season 1, that's not right now streaming on Netflix, make sure to get yourself a channel membership, and we'll discuss that 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then apart from that, I don't think you'll be seeing me before the new year reporting on news or anything. I might have like a pop-up like end of year video, but that is about it. But in the meantime, happy holidays. I hope it is filled with love, laughter, and everything it is that you are wishing and hoping for. Above all else, for sure, good health, right? Which is more important now than ever. Thank you for another wonderful years of making videos together, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again in the new year. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.